Things took an interesting turn when two social workers, Margaret and Julius, were riding towards some boy named Oliver and revealed that the boy is living alone in his house as his mother just died. So they need to meet him and make a report if he isn't harmful to society and all is well with him. Then they can allow him to live in his home. Otherwise, they have to send him to some hospital. Now we see Oliver preparing his breakfast and watching his mom's favorite TV show. He is pretty alone after his mom died and is not much social, so he doesn't have any friends as well. The duo arrived and noticed the house was neat and clean, so they told him the entire scenario. Julius wasn't sure of keeping Oliver into his home, but Margaret was pretty hopeful, so proposed a challenge for Oliver. If he can make some friends in a week, then they will submit a positive report. Oliver needed to agree to this challenge, but of course he didn't know how. He heads to the beach with the hope of meeting some pals. Soon enough, he strikes up a conversation with Chloe, a newcomer to the neighborhood, aiming to begin a new friendship. As they walk together, Oliver unfolds his sad past. He remembers how his mother was relaxing in a water tub when accidentally he jumped over a wire and the TV fell inside the water, making his mother startled with current, and she was put to an eternal sleep by stepping onto some pointy stuff. This made Chloe more uncomfortable, so she decided to leave without saying anything. Oliver was sad that things didn't go well, so he went straight to his mother's grave. There he shares the latest happenings in her favorite TV show and opens up about the challenges he faces in making new friends. Meanwhile, nearby, two gravediggers discuss Oliver's struggle to find the right words for his mother's gravestone. Oliver wished to make friends, so he brought a bag of frozen pizza to a place called the Chicken Run, but it was a mistake because Kurt and his friends teased Oliver and spilled his groceries. Oliver went back home and put on a show, but the TV screen was not working. Oliver was sad and crossed out a day on his calendar, remembering he only had 6 days to make a friend. The next morning, Oliver planned to lie to his mom when the gravediggers approached him. They suggested he should come with them to the cemetery, telling stories about the people who passed away there. Later, he discovered a memorial for Mitch, a teenager who lost his life in a car crash. Oliver heard Mitch's mom say he was liked by everyone and had many friends. Oliver really wants to be part of his friends group. Man, he's dead now. Oliver tells his pals Margaret and Julius that he befriended Mitch, even though it's a lie. He wants them to think he's cool, but when they find out he hasn't hung out with Mitch, Margaret tells him to dig him out and bring him over, and Oliver takes her seriously. He follows her suggestion and digs up Mitch's coffin from the graveyard. He brings him to his house and chats with him as if he's alive, telling him about his mom's death. He marks the calendar that night, happy to have a friend at last. The next day, a technician comes to fix his TV. Oliver covers up Mitch's condition by putting shades on him, and luckily, he didn't realize that it was some dead guy. The next day, Chloe meets Oliver on a street and apologizes, and gives him a word to make up for it. Later, at his mom's tombstone, Oliver thinks about the weird things that happened, grateful for having a friend, even in a weird way. Oliver just heard that there came some more bodies this morning. He tells Mitch that he never had a good family. His dad was always working, and his mom got sad and obsessed with TV and drinks after his dad disappeared one day. Also, Oliver still felt sad and alone in his big house until he found Mitch, who he thinks is a good friend and listener. To deal with his loneliness, Oliver chooses to dig up the bodies of the people who died in the plane crash. So at night, he dug up bodies of a woman, one old man, and a little girl. He actually wanted to make an entire family. When he leaves the graveyard with the dead bodies, he hits a dog named Ninja by mistake and takes it home as a pet. At home with the bodies, Oliver puts them on the couch while watching Elf on TV. He gets an idea from the characters taking a family picture, and he decides to make a photo book with his new fake family. He arranges the dead bodies for a picture, but he doesn't like the first one and wants to do it again the next day. Amazingly, the picture comes out overnight, showing the dead bodies looking alive, making a perfect happy family. The next morning, Oliver is surprised to see Suzanne turned into a zombie in the living room. She yells at him for sleeping late and gives him a bunch of things to do, like helping his dad with the car and calling him for lunch. Oliver's little sister tells him to take a shower because he smells bad. Okay, so God gave him another chance to live happily with his newly made family, but in the form of zombies. I mean, these people are alive now, but in the same manner as they died. Oliver sees Mitch lying in the sun and enjoying the sun while taking off his shirt. He walks over to him and sees that he has sunglasses on. While Mitch takes them off, Oliver sees that his eyes are always open because Ninja ate his eyelids. Frank, who happens to be his father in his dream world, is working on the car and needs Oliver's help because he lost 3 fingers in the car. When he found out, he put the fingers back on with a stapler. At lunchtime, Suzanne makes hot dogs and fries for Frank. Meanwhile, the bully Kurt notices Chloe at a restaurant and asks her to hang out, but she says no. Oliver walks by and Chloe asks him to go on a date with her, making Kurt and his friends shocked. When Oliver gets home, he sees Suzanne and his dad dancing in the living room. He changes the TV channel and Suzanne tells him to clean his room, make his bed, and shower before taking dinner. Mitch asks Oliver to go to some party, but Oliver denies nicely as he has a date with Chloe. They get ready and Mitch tells Oliver how to actually date. Suzanne interrupts them and tells him to come for dinner. Mitch comes into the kitchen when Oliver is doing the dishes and shows him that Ninja, the doggy, has bit his arm off. Suzanne is busy with the dog who is hurt, so Mitch keeps telling Oliver how to date properly, so he must not ruin it. He tells him to take Chloe to a nice place and meet her parents later. Oliver and Chloe stay in the car and watch the beautiful view. Oliver wants to go somewhere else, but Chloe wants to keep talking. Oliver leans forward and sees Frank's finger that he lost and picks it up. Chloe tells him that she never had anyone to talk to until she met him. Then Chloe says she wants to go home. At Chloe's house, her mom says thank you to Oliver for dropping Chloe and Chloe to bid him goodnight. That night, Oliver watches Elf and says thank you to Mitch for the dating tips. But Mitch says he just made it all up. Julius, the social worker, tells Margaret, his friend, that he has a feeling Oliver is keeping a secret at his house. They get to Oliver's place and Oliver hides the dead dog in the piano as fastly as he can, and Mitch fixes the bandage on his head. Oliver shows Mitch to Margaret and Julius, trying to prove to Margaret that they're friends. Mitch says he happened to be in a car crash, and Oliver helped him. Oliver goes to get drinks, and Julius looks around the rooms. He doesn't know there are real-life zombies in the house, and he goes into Mel's room and finds an ear on the floor that fell off. He goes to the bathroom and sees Suzanne in the tub, so he is scared out. Oliver comes back with drinks, and Mitch says his whole family is staying at Oliver's house for a vacation. When Oliver gets back, Julius makes Margaret go away early, lying about a meeting that is important. In the car, Margaret is happy that Oliver can make friends, but Julius says he saw something weird in the house, as Margaret doesn't encounter anything like that, so she doesn't believe him. Oliver and Frank are on the porch together. Frank tells Oliver about his dad giving him a cigar when he was 14. He was supposed to save it, but Frank smoked a whole cigar in one day, and he was sick for 2 days. Both the boys, Kurt and his friend, come to Oliver, wearing costumes for Halloween. They want a treat, so Kurt tells Oliver that he has to give them $300, or they will do something bad, like break his house or hurt him. Frank interrupts when Kurt asks for money and rips off Kurt's arm. The bullies were scared enough to run away. Frank tells Oliver later that he has his back, and he's not alone. Susan requests Chloe's mother to come to a Halloween party over a phone call, and Mitch says he will get them costumes just like theirs. At a restaurant, people think Frank's face is a Halloween mask. Chloe's family, who are dressed like vampires, sit with them. Kurt and his friends start annoying Chloe and ask where Oliver is, and Oliver comes out of nowhere but surprises them by hitting directly into his face. Oliver holds Kurt's throat, making him pee himself. The people in the restaurant say Oliver is brave for fighting Kurt. The party ended in a happy medium, and Oliver and Chloe shared a beautiful kiss on their way back home. The zombie family sings happily in the car as they had a really great time. That night, Julius invaded Oliver's house and saw a half finger. He already called for help from the mental hospital and tried to get more proof against Oliver. In the meantime, Oliver shows up with a mask on and asks him to go away now or he will call the cops. Julius keeps filming and sees the other zombies in the house with the lights turn on. The horrible scene scared him a lot. Suzanne touches Julius's forehead to see if he has a fever, and a piece of skin sticks to his face. Julius gets even more scared and runs out of the house. The help he called for has just arrived, but they put Julius in the cabin thinking he has got mad. The next day, Oliver gets up and pushes Mel by mistake, and her head falls off. Suzanne tells Oliver to go to his mom's room and get something she left for him. Oliver finds a yellow rose on the bed in the room. Margaret has called Oliver to the beachside and told him that Julius is sick and needs time to get better. She says she will stop the case and she is there for Oliver always. Oliver goes to the graveyard to say hi to his mom, and he sees what is written on her grave. He puts the yellow rose on it and tells that he can't watch her favorite show anymore, but he misses her a lot. Suzanne gets a call that one of Frank's projects failed badly, so she stopped ironing and ran to tell him, but the iron accidentally caused the fire. Oliver smells the smoke and runs downstairs to see what's going on. He passes out from the smoke, but he wakes up and sees Frank and Mitch dragging him to the door to get him out. A piece of wood falls on him, but they get it off him fast, telling Oliver to get out even though he doesn't want to leave his family. Oliver wishes he could stay with his zombie family, but Suzanne and Mitch tell him that they're already dead, and he has a lot to live for. The zombie family gives Oliver a hug each, saying bye and saying they will see him later. They sit on the couch again, like when Oliver took the picture. It's hard, but Oliver gets up and goes out of the house. holding the fishbowl Mal gave him. A firefighter helps him right away, and Oliver says there was no one else in the house. Chloe comes soon and hugs him after the scary incident. The fire keeps burning, and the family picture burns too. Oliver and Chloe walk away from the fire, and Oliver finds a cigar in his pocket and smokes it. Chloe asks if they're going to his house, and Oliver says yes, holding the fishbowl and showing that Bruce, the fish, is still alive. Thank you for being part of this story. Take care, and stay tuned for the next story.